Yes, okay. Thank you for the book. Amazing.
Good, good. I hope you can enjoy it.
Now, the webinar is it similar to the Twitter chat? Or different?
No, different. You speaking. You define your.
Are we having a conversation?
Yes.
Yeah, like just what you did now.
Why don't you and I sit
That's
together?
what I said. That's what I said to you, that we can teach this in the discussion.
What it's supposed to do is just that you don't have this option on the phone. When I was talking about the Facebook Live and Zoom also.
Do you mind if I sit on your lap because I'm deaf in this year? No, this year I had an airplane accident.
It's fine. I think it's good.
I wonder if there's anybody coming. These things are so difficult.
She's managing that.
No, not from a technology perspective.
Hi, entrepreneurs. We're having our monthly webinar, and today's topic is access to market. We have York, who is a big fan of helping entrepreneurs actually achieve their financial goals by selling every day. And I said, York, I have that problem. I'm currently selling one book a day. I want to sell 5 books a day, every day. And I then gave him the copy.
This.
And say, when you help me, you're gonna help all. Let's have a conversation about how's my strategy, how did I think I'm gonna do it, and then he's gonna find some holes. So we're gonna use this as a discussion. Thank you for being here. I will record it also for you so that you can follow, because there's certain principles that York is gonna cover for us so that we're able to just think back, how does that apply to my industry? What action can I take immediately? It can't be something that you're going to do tomorrow, you're going to do it now. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So awesome to be here. I don't know who's live, so forgive me, I'm pretty new to all this technology aspect. I'm old-fashioned and old. So I think the most important thing, we're just going to touch on a couple of topics for entrepreneurs, and I hope that by the end of the session, you will have a much more practical understanding of what you can do without spending any money to start getting clients. Because I think you and I agree that without clients, you don't have a business.
No, it's definitely not.
Yes, as a cliche goes, if you don't have clients, you have a hobby. So I'm pushing the technology a bit further away so that we are friends.
That's fine. But remember, Yoko, this is your spot. And honestly, I just want to learn. I think for me, selling was the challenge. And let alone I failed. In 2014, I tried to sell my product, which was training entrepreneurs. And I realized that I was selling to people who didn't understand what I was saying, because I was not simplifying things like you were saying earlier. So I think that is one of the things maybe we should cover and say, how do you simplify your message? But you can also we can go back to the basic. What are the components to create a simple message so that we can reach our customer more?
So that point is very valid. And I think, so first, I'm sorry about the failures. But you know what? It's a bit like, have you got children?
Yes, I have 3.
And how old are they?
12, 11, and 8.
And the reality of having a baby and the baby growing up is that they will have little incidents, accidents, they will fall many times, they will cry, and that's the only way that you build up their personality.
Absolutely.
And it's the same with business. We so often don't embrace failure. And I don't mean that we should enjoy failure. Nobody enjoys failure, because often it's a personal reflection. You kind of start thinking, my business is failing, what does it say about me? The tip that I give to everybody, you will fail. You will always one day have a project, have a workshops, have a product or service, something will go wrong. So try not to shy away from it, but rather say, you know what, I am going to, am I allowed to swear?
No, you're not allowed, but go ahead.
I am going to beep up from time to time. You are going to fail and you're going to fall on your face. The only advice I can give you from personal experience, having also gone through a number of failures, is build a business little steps at a time. Too often our ambitiousness drives us to pursue the multi-million rand tender, the big corporate. The surest way for you to have a life where you're going to hate your entrepreneurial journey is to go for a tender.
Okay, perfect. I have a perfect case study then for you, York. So in my case, I sold direct to entrepreneurs. My program was about, I will help you to sort out problems with SARS. You'll now be able to manage your accountant. You'll now be able to know what compliance needs to be done monthly, weekly, and. And I sold to them and they didn't have any uptake. Even when I brought in the pain, of actually saying, no, SARS will shut you down, or Department of Labor will come and close your business. The pain was not clear enough, and also the consequence of actually closing down your business. When I realized that I had failed, I then changed from business to business. From business to customer, and change the strategy to business to corporate, which was now I will sell my products and services to other CFOs because they're probably going to understand me better. I'm at their level. That is why maybe myself didn't do well with business to customer. But what I did realize in the last few months is that corporate have a different lead time. They take longer to make decisions. They don't pay you in time. Whereas if I were to make sure that I have a sales strategy that sells 5 books a day for me, I don't even need to wake up.
But here's the thing. So first, I congratulate you for looking at what you were doing and trying to see if there's not a different way to do it. Sometimes, like even with the businesses that I started, the first year sometimes was shit. We had no traction whatsoever, despite people loving what we did. And then we changed the name of the organization and the packaging of what we were solving. I did a workshop recently, very recently, where I said, if you're a web designer, you don't do websites. Okay. What you do is help small businesses generate more money online. Ooh. Still the same service, nothing has changed fundamental. Like if I take your book, the Essential Finance Handbook, the way I would sell it to entrepreneurs is saying, dear entrepreneur, are you looking for funding? You need money to grow your business. 99% of all entrepreneurs say yes. I'm going to say, right, no funder will look at you if your finances are not in order.
True.
Here is 7 steps to manage your business finance, 7 easy to follow steps. By the time you finish this book, your finances will look much better. You might not be profitable yet, but at least
it gives you a
financial statements and everything
for you to put in.
And it will set you much better in the eyes of potential funders.
I hope you are listening, entrepreneurs. It's about solving the problem of the person. So you have to keep in mind the person's, what is their state, what are they looking for. I think I was selling compliance instead of selling funding.
Compliance is a grudge purchase. It's like going to a dentist. Who the hell wants to go to the dentist? Okay, so that's the first one. So sometimes packaging is crucial. We are so passionate about the product or the service that we've developed that we forget sometimes that the others don't give a shit about us. And it's not out of rudeness. We've got friends and families and supporters. but we don't make it easy for them to understand why they should buy what we sell. We describe it in, it's a book on finance. No, this is your gateway to getting funding. This will unlock and support you from, you get my point. And so packaging the value proposition, by the way, it doesn't start on day one. When we started some companies, you go in the market and you say, guys, this is what we solve. Nothing, nobody. Okay, maybe we reword it differently. This is what we solve, and then people started reacting. Oh, maybe we're onto something. So experiment. Use your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your Twitter.
You're actually right, because I also did something similar to that. I feel like God is keep on teaching me the same lesson, and I'm not getting the lesson. Beginning of the year, I wanted to start another product. I wanted to actually create an accountability board, like an advisory board for entrepreneurs as a product, so that when the entrepreneur can have a place to go on quarterly basis to say, this is how I perform, this is my challenges, this is what I want to do. Can you guide me on how I can actually achieve this quicker and easier? But when I went through more detail on analyzing, I picked up that entrepreneurs are not managing performance. So that accountability board, what is it going to be doing when you're not managing your performance daily?
Know how I would have solved it. And please don't share this too much.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I will either yet. So what I would do is not package it in terms of, hey, entrepreneur, we're here to measure you every month or every quarter. Who wants that? You know how the entrepreneurial journey, it's a roller coaster. Your finances are never in order. Your processes, your systems, controls, and it's part of the journey, But what if you sold it to the egos? Hey, entrepreneur, would you like on your website to say that you have a board? It will make you as a business look much more powerful.
More accountable.
More
reliable.
And it will persuade potential customers and investors that you are here for the long run. And the only price of that is, I want 10%. The only price of that is that you subscribe and then you send quarterly board meetings.
Yes, and they don't even need to be face to face. They can actually run in a webinar like this and say, okay, how have you worked? And you work with specialists that will help you to build your business.
So that's again, often we forget that the products or the services that we develop, we think they solve a problem, when actually, if you're packaging, there's still got to be content, but when packaged in a way that taps into the selfishness of who's buying, the wallet opens. There's a study that we did, and we support entrepreneurs in 83 countries. And one of the things that we realized, that every business, every entrepreneur that has a product or service, there is a client out there that is interested in you. The problem is they don't know what you do, what you're working on, and how to find you.
How are you different from any other person who's providing the same thing?
Absolutely. So and this is the point. It's not necessarily about your product and service. It's not about what they actually solve, but what is the pain that they address in that entrepreneur.
So sell the pain of what your customers is feeling right now, so that they can have a clear indication what problem you're solving.
Are your invoices that you're sending out, for example, looking a little bit amateurish and people don't take you seriously? Let me sell you a fantastic invoicing solution for 99 Rand a month that will make your organization like $1 million, look like $1 million.
Professional, that is that compliant, that is based on the requirement legislation.
And you've been in the business, so you know that a few tweaks and you don't have to reinvent the business. This is the point. Packaging is very important. We are so bombarded by so many people selling us so much crap that we've lost the ability to distinguish between truth and bullshit. And so if you make it easy for people to understand what you do and what you solve, I guarantee you people will start first introducing you to others. For example, now that I know that this finance handbook helps entrepreneurs, get more ready for funding, I will say if you're looking for funding, read this book, get your finances in order. By the way, getting finances in order doesn't mean you're profitable. I have invested a lot of money for myself and for other organizations, and I can tell you, investors do not mind if you're not profitable yet. What they mind is if you have no financial systems in place.
To manage your costs, to keep track of your costing, so that when you are profitable, they will have something.
Correct, and there's free apps like Moneyfy I use, which is a very basic app which says, I'm having a coffee, with a little icon, 12 Rand 50.
Oh, wow.
I bought a how train ticket. I bought a minibus. And after 6 months, you actually have a real understanding of what the hell you're spending your money on. You won't believe how much money we waste in going to meetings when a WhatsApp call would have been enough. You spend 200 Rand between transport, coffees, invitation, and time, when 6 Rand data top up would have surfaced. And you would actually save you a lot of hassle.
That's one of the reasons why I now have the webinar, because I can do meetings and stuff. So there's some people who are raising their hand with questions. Let's take Likey, he's got his question here. I'm gonna go to participants and ask him to allow to talk. Hi Likey, how are you? Likey,
Wait,
I have.
think there's a microphone.
Yeah, Likey, unmute yourself, please. Unmute yourself. I've already allowed him to talk.
Ah.
Yes.
Oh,
Am I?
Ah, there you are.
Hi, there you are. Hi, Likey.
Thank you very much. It's a very interesting discussion that we're having. Just on the issue of the app, the money app, I just want to make a follow up on that. You said it's Moneyfy or something.
Moneyfy, I will type it in somewhere.
We will type it in now.
But it doesn't. It really doesn't matter. I don't care about which apps. Like, you choose whichever one you like most, but don't go for something complicated. Like, I personally find, whether it's a CRM system or accounting apps or whatever, you know, if they are too complex and require if they are too complex or require a lot of involvement, we're not going to use them. Use something that is simple and starts giving you an accurate picture of how you're spending your money. And of course, we as startups and entrepreneurs often mix our personal finance with our business. That's okay. What people want to know that invest in you is, are you on top of your game? Do you understand where you're wasting money, where you're losing money? They don't. Nobody expects an entrepreneur to make money from day one. They want to know, are you understanding your costs? And that's why I say use a basic solution that works with your lifestyle.
Okay, thank you very much.
There's another hand here. Truly's hand is up. I'm going to allow you, Truly. Thank you, Likey. Truly, I've unmuted you. Go ahead. Truly,
hello, Precious. How are you?
I'm good, girl. How are you?
Hello. I'm good. I'm so excited to be part of this webinar. And I've been asking myself 2 questions. The first question is, you speak a lot about packaging. I need to understand, you know why I sell products, right? I need to understand, when we labeling packaging in terms of solving a client's pain, what kind of packaging are we talking about?
And then tell us about your business and what you do and what problem you solve, and then we're gonna do one for you right now.
Okay. I brew ginger beer, right? Flavored ginger beer, and I sell it from my shop. However, I started approaching bigger clients. One of them being Johosan, to serve it as their welcome drinks. But then the problem, the pain that I'm serving currently is that I'm serving indigenous drinks which have health benefits. In terms, ginger helps with indigestion, it helps with kidney stone. I can name all of them, but just to save time, I brew ginger beer, right? So when we're talking about packaging my solution to these people, how do I give it to them? And then the second question was about the Manify, which was answered. I also didn't hear that properly, but I got it now.
Cool. So can I just make a suggestion? One of the biggest mistakes we as entrepreneurs do is to pursue large corporates. I congratulate you on your ambition. I love your passion. I think the product you have is different enough and interesting enough to say, hey, would you like ginger beer? I really don't know. Ginger beer is one of the fastest growing drinking segments. We have flavored ginger beers that gives the right kind of spice and welcome and first impression to guests. If you go to the Waterberg, if you go to the Kruger Park, if you go to many provinces, there's hundreds upon hundreds of established game lodges, hotels, bed and breakfast, Airbnbs. Why don't you offer them a welcome guest package, a little bottle to put on the table of something that's proudly made in South Africa, proudly made by you, tasty and different from the usual Coca-Cola or tonic water. So, you know, we often see small B2B clients, SME to SME, as I like to say. We often treat them as a stepping stone to our bigger ambitions. Instead of saying, yo, whoa, slow down, let me focus on, where do you live?
She seems to have, we seem to have lost her.
Okay. Well, I'll keep her. She can listen later. But the point here is,
I love that idea. There is so many reserves. There's so many places where actually there is tourists that are coming from different countries specific to have a South African experience. Therefore, the product will be sold exactly where the client is looking for a South African product, not where people are actually not necessarily looking for this product. I love that. I love that. I think truly that's it.
And let me give you a practical example that might be applicable to every entrepreneur. All of us are so hungry to grow a business that we try to grow nationally. I reckon if you were to walk your neighborhood in a 5-kilometer radius, you would find 20 potential small customers who would buy your bottles. Don't only focus on the big ones that are 300 kilometers away, where then you have logistic challenges, the driving there, stocking and all that. Start small. Start having a loyal customer base around you. And then when the next time you go to Tsogo Sun and they say who else uses it, you show them the list of 130 bed and breakfast and lodges that are currently stocking your product. And why is Tsogo Sun the only one not doing it? That's my advice, is go back a step. We are often as entrepreneurs so in love with what we do that we are desperate for people to have our products. My suggestion to you is to take it a step back, have a few clients that may not make you rich, but you will enjoy the entrepreneurial roller coaster much more. You will be able to meet the demands of a client. If Tsogo Sun say, okay, I want 10,000 bottles, you're not going to find the financing for 10,000 bottles. You've got to find that money, and they're only going to pay you 3 months later. I don't know payment policy, but I'm just saying,
true.
Some of these opportunities are actually setbacks disguised as opportunities, where you're surrounded by much smaller clients that give you a track record, that bring much needed cash immediately, and.
You know, this is so amazing. This is exactly who I am. Remember, I started with the small businesses and realizing I was not getting the money. But now I got my business to generate at least 5 times what I was making then. And now I'm struggling to manage my cash flow because as much as I'm invoicing big amounts with corporate, I do not have revenue that I'm making continuously. It's a big once-off contract that disappears for another 3-4 months.
Absolutely.
Now I'm going back to the strategy of actually I need to sell just 5 books a day.
Guys, girls, I'll tell you one thing. big corporates in South Africa and in many parts of the world don't care about SMEs. I don't mean that the people are bad. I don't mean it at all. What I mean by that is you as an entrepreneur are too risky for a large corporate supply chain to be adapted to incorporate you, because you're not always reliable. That's a reality. We're not always able to bring the quantities on time. And so for us to expect a big corporate to change the whole company to help us is idiotic. Don't waste 2 years pursuing a big contract. Pursue hundreds of small contracts. 100 sales a month of 10 bottles each is a lot of money in the bank.
Absolutely. So I see there's Lucia. Lucia has a bakery. So one of the strategies that Lucia was working on was to actually open the bakery and run and have some stuff a daily. I then said to her, Lucia, but now we are both a manufacturer, a distributor, and a retailer at the same time. What are you good at? What can you just do the baking only and then supply people who are selling in the street, supply people who are at the hospitals, on the street? They actually sell a lot of, they can move the volume. So maybe you can advise Lucia. Lucia, do you have any questions? I'm gonna allow you to speak. Lucia, go ahead.
Hi, Lucia.
Okay, Lucia, is she here? Still here?
Maybe just shy.
Mom Lucia, hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Please, how is it going with the strategy that I said to you? Rather focus, because she also had the same understanding of the question, if I can sell to so and so in bulk, and for me it was no, sell a little bit over a period of time, but have a proper channel. You decide to be just the manufacturer, not a distributor, not a retailer. Here is a specialist in packaging and making sure you reach the market.
Lucia, what is the product that people love the most? Is it a chocolate croissant? Is it a bun? Is it a freshly baked loaf? What is the 1 or 2 products that people love the most?
Scone and fat cakes.
More?
Small and fat cakes, which is the scone and fat cakes is
okay.
What is it called? Fat cakes?
Magwenya.
Oh yeah, that helps.
Okay. It's Italian. But it's you just take a dumpling and you put it on the oil and then you fry it and then you sell it.
So how she describes it makes my mouth water. So you obviously got a good brand ambassador here. But you know what?
Oh, she makes great corn.
I was at a conference for 800 agricultural entrepreneurs in Soweto about a month ago. And a professor who is involved in agriculture told the 800 the farmers, when I say farmer, I'm talking about somebody who's got 2 square meters behind the shack growing chilies or some tomatoes, not big industrial farmers. And he said, guys, you are all idiots. And everybody's like, okay, we're walking out. And then he says, you are so focused, like you're doing right now, Lucia. But
yes.
I'm assuming, so forgive me, I'm not putting you on the spot. Trying
I understand.
Tap into these supply chains of the hospitals, of the bakery, of other things. Yet, if you were to take these, what are they called?
The fat cookies
fat
and
cakes.
The scones.
And the scone, and you put a really you put it into a little cheap wrapper, you know,
which
the plastic
I said, the
wrap.
plastic wraps, remember?
Plastic
Small
wrap.
plastic wraps.
Then you spend 100 Rand to get a graphic designer to make the funkiest logo ever seen, which says Lucia's fat cookies.
Yes.
They make you fat, but they taste so good. Something stupid. And then you sell them at every stand in the corner. You build a brand. Just at packaging, you can ask 2 Rand more because people start trusting Lucia's brand.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we put it, you take the fat cookies, you put them in the plastic that is just funky, nice, beautiful, that is just fun, and that it says something that is stupid or says something that is just absurd.
And make it a red plastic or some plastic color that stands out when it's sitting on a table with lots of other things that are being sold on the side of the streets and so forth. It won't belong. The person when he sells it on the corner of the street.
Yes.
Buy him a T-shirt. How much is a T-shirt?
A T-shirt is 20
What do you
rand.
guys have?
The one that I'm wearing now, we bought 20 rand because we bought 100.
Okay, so 20. I need the address.
No, that
so
is good.
My point here is make 5 shirts with the logo that you designed.
Exactly.
And then that person is now an ambassador on the side of the street selling. There's a brand you are selling, and you will not believe how much you start selling more.
And then remember the cafes, the close corner deli.
And the canteen, and the canteen.
And
you know what I've started doing? Ne? What I've started doing, I don't know whether you can hear me. I went to the industrial area. I went to the industrial area in Germiston. So I've started supplying the scones to about 3 of them. So you know what? I'm just trying to be patient because the numbers are not growing as much as I wish, because I will take about maybe an order of 200 rand in one company, another one 50 rand. But you know, I'm just telling myself that it will grow. The challenge with finding the street hawkers, maybe just to give them my products to sell, their issue is they've been employed by other people, so they cannot sell on my behalf. You understand?
So I'm with you. So maybe consider attending. There is a hawkers association, so that you can present your case as to how you work with them. They don't work for you. You provide them the same way they buy from Knickknacks and also from Macro. They are just buying from you.
That's so, Lucia, also happy to chat offline. I don't want to go too long on your case, but congrats where you are. Okay. There are opportunities, and by the way, there is never, you're not going to attend this seminar, this webinar, and hey, here's a solution. Even our businesses over the years, when we started, they were shit. And we changed it and fine-tuned and changed it and fine-tuned and changed. And now it's something that's growing and so forth. But it took 100 small modifications. So don't look for the perfect answer. Just experiment with unconventional approaches. Package it in red packaging, big logo, big sign on the street, hand-painted on a piece of card where it says the home of Lucia's, etc.
Fat cookies.
So the point here is, in entrepreneurship, sorry if I'm now moving on to the next topic, is that people like Lucky, the people like Lucia, there's a lot of phenomenal entrepreneurs out there, but people don't know they exist. And this is where I want to invite you, like yourself, Lucia, to go to Facebook, to go to LinkedIn, to Twitter, to Instagram, and ask yourself, look at these tools as if you were looking at salespeople. Look at them, look at LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook and Instagram and say, dear Mr. LinkedIn, dear Mr. Facebook, are you sending me 10 clients a day? And I suspect the answer no, because we use all these free social media platforms for absolutely crap purposes. And unless you're rich and you can afford not to generate leads for your business, I want to kick your ass and invite you to change all your platforms. Like in Lucia's case, she goes to Canva, for example. It's a free platform to design banners. I'm just going to write it here.
No problem, we are writing it now.
Oops, sorry, I misspelled Canva. There we go. And use it. Google, type Facebook banner, and you'll see free templates. Now put your image of the food that you are eating, and then write for the best cook, sister. What is it? Cook?
Fat cooks.
Fat cooks or scones in South Africa. Call us, send us a WhatsApp now. What I'm saying to you is I want you to change all your social media descriptions, all the banners on top of Facebook, on top of Twitter, the stuff that you post on Instagram. Change it with your products, with examples of consumers or businesses using your products, of projects that you're doing, of you repairing the fence, of you cutting the grass, you chopping the trees. Show off what you do. The more you start sharing, 2 things will happen. One, people will finally understand what the hell you do for a living. And if it's easy to understand, it's easy to call you because I know now when to call you. And the second is more subliminally. When you share that what you're doing, you're actually telling people that this, I have a track record. I have clients. These are the projects I'm currently working on. So people are going, ooh, if he or she is doing it for other clients, wow, then I should also, I don't want to be left out. It's a very subliminal process. Like Lucia, every client that buys from you should be holding your freshly packaged scone or fat cook. Thank you. My goodness, I'm getting old. The fat cook proudly in your hand, holding it with a big smile, and you tag them on Instagram. Who doesn't reshare this photo?
Oh, they're always gonna reshare when they're in it. Remember, they because they're in it themselves, they wanna share it.
And you know what you do then? And you say, if you come into our shop and you buy one and you take the photo, we'll give you a second one for free.
Oh wow! Actually, that strategy I'm gonna build up for my book.
Exactly. So there's many ways. Try silly things that tap into people's selfishness. You've got to learn to make it easy for people to know what you sell, and make it easy for people to understand what things you can do. And all these social media platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and so forth, look at them and say, damn you, you're not working hard enough for me, I'm going to change you now.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So, entrepreneurs, please type your questions. We're both on, is there any questions, Sonta, on Facebook?
Ah, we're on Facebook too.
Yes, we're live on Facebook. So, guys, the point is, you're gonna have to try so many things. And sometimes you might try them at different times, sometimes you might try them simultaneously, just to make sure that you actually achieve your goals. You're gonna be an entrepreneur that says, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to reach my customer and solve my problem.
And here's a couple of other platforms. For example, in Gauteng, there is this one here. I'm just writing it for you all. Sorry. These are platforms, for example, that were created to help entrepreneurs for free to find clients. I mistyped it. I apologize. I can't. This is not my keyboard. So, jte.zone. This, just like many other things, use them. Use these platforms. Share what you're struggling with. Maybe you are struggling, your case study, Lucia, of what you're doing. Maybe you're struggling with the ginger beer, with the sales. Guy, and this is how you can position it. You don't have to share what you're struggling in terms of failure. You can say, guys, I make some of the most amazing ginger beer in South Africa, all different flavors, but I'm really struggling to get into small bed and breakfasts, Airbnbs and so forth. Does anybody have an idea? And you won't believe, when you make it easy for others to help you, how many people start engaging with you.
Perfect, great. Guys, can we take a few more? We're left with what, another 20 minutes, 10 minutes? Okay, so I think when we have done the packaging, I have built up what your offering is. Where to from there?
Okay.
So you've built your package. Here's the product.
Yeah.
This product is going to help entrepreneurs to actually access funding. This product is going to help entrepreneurs to deal with all the questions that the funder is going to be asking you.
Yeah.
You're going to be more prepared.
And packaging, by the way, doesn't just mean a product like a book or like the
Yes, I'm with you. So packaging is your sales. It's your sales.
I'll give you a practical example. If you are a graphic designer, or let's say a website designer, as there are thousands of them.
Yeah.
You're not a website designer. I will kick your ass if your description is I do websites. Rather, I help small businesses make more money online by setting up online shops for them.
And then for a graphic designer?
Well, it depends what you're focusing on. Okay. And too many people are jack of all trades. You may be very good at many things, but one of the things that puts off people is when they think that you do everything. Pick one thing you're really good at. For example, I'm for the best logos that help you get more customers, call me. I can do the best logos in the world.
Oh, I do logos for consumer product. I do logos for professionals. I do logos for lawyers and accountants. So instead of just saying I do graphic design.
Exactly. So focus on who your customers are. I know that often our products and our services, we think that everybody can buy them. And it's probably true. But my hope to you is that you learn that in this world, specialized service providers are actually winning the entrepreneurship race. When you need a mechanic, you go to a mechanic. When you need tires, you go to a tire place. A dentist, you go to a dentist, and so forth and so on. Specialization sells. It doesn't matter when they come to the dentist, they also sell you toothpaste, whatever else they sell you.
They sell you toothpaste, they ask you if you want to clean, is it maintenance? They have several things.
Exactly.
But you can specialize, even for kids, as a dentist, you can say, I only just service the kids.
Exactly.
So I work with pediatricians and smaller kids all based on this age.
So when we talk about packaging, we're talking about not just the physical packaging around your product, but is what are you wrapping it up with? Hey, world, I am the best presenter for sales conference in the world. Call me if you want to ABCD. So make it, I know we are all very good at many things, but make it, nobody trusts the jack of all trades. They want to know why do I come to you?
Yes. And
you may get less calls, but the calls you get are from people who want to speak to you about the service you do. We are spending too much time trying to be very busy.
Yes.
Rather, I, for example, for my business, probably don't get more than 3 emails a day that are relevant. Those are the 3 emails I focus my time on.
That is wonderful. But now, so for you to have lots of sales, you have to go niche. But when you go on that niche, expand yourself within that niche by understanding that market and that segment and the population so that you can start building up your sales projection.
So now imagine you are a graphic designer that specializes in logos for accountancy firms.
Oh, wow. Now I have a target. I can only just go to professional bodies of accountants and sell my...
No, don't go to the professional bodies. Go to the accountancy firms themselves. Go to Wits University or everybody who graduates who has dreams of starting
their business and then start recruiting them.
And then here's another tip I can give you. When you're looking for clients, give 2 tips, 3 tips, 5 short tips. Hey, are you an accountant looking at rebranding yourself? Here's 5 things you should think about when branding yourself.
Always teaching your customers.
Teach your potential customers.
Always.
And then you're about to die of battery. So we are facing a meltdown battery-wise.
Don't worry, we should be fine just now.
I'll keep talking until we die here.
So then as an entrepreneur, you need to make sure that you're mainly focusing on where to find this customer. Be very specific on where to find the customer. Because when you don't know where to find them, guess what? You will never attract them. Because which means you're not swimming where they are. So swim where your target market is.
Absolutely. And this helps also a hell of a lot in defining who you are. And like I said, I go back to what we suggested before is don't sell to everybody. Find exactly who you sell to. And the funny thing is, like for example, a while back, I told people that we provide whatever we do, software, for a niche market called, in a very niche region called Africa. That's 1 billion people, but the niche creates a perception that you are the person to go to.
Perfect. So my suggestion also will be, once you know what your target market is, start getting yourself into the networks. Which events are they attending? When they go to those events, who's the participants in that event? How can you go and speak to them? So I had another client recently who was talking about they are selling employee wellness products. They sell health, they will talk about HIV and AIDS, they would sell weight loss and management. And they want to do this for their clients. And I said to them, but who's your target? They said, no, it's corporate. I said, no, it's your HR. The HR person is the one that will make a decision, irrespective of which size or big size, small business or big business, but it's the HR person who will make decisions.
I would have done it differently, even further.
Go ahead.
So topping that, so like I said before, I'm not a big fan of big corporates.
No, I know.
But that means entrepreneurs, and listen to this, you cannot charge corporate prices to other smaller businesses.
Yes.
You have to change your mindset to, I'd rather have 20 nice small clients than one big one, which means you've got to make it more affordable. But here's what I would have done. I would have written a brochure, a digital brochure or whatever, saying something along the lines of, if you want to make your workforce energized, if you want to make them happy, more productive, that you get more money for the wages that you spend, the nicest thing you can do is make them feel important, make them feel like you're looking after them. Click here to book a one-day wellness program where we engage with your employees and make them feel like $1 million so they can generate $1 million for your business.
Oh, no, I love that.
Now, a game lodge like ours with 10 employees would say, well, if your price is right, come up there.
Perfect.
And then you may not be rich, but you had one more client, one more reference, a little bit more money in the bank, and more experience.
Perfect. And you build up your profile over a period of time and do the little things that York was talking about, and say, when you're running that workshop, you take the pictures with them.
Absolutely.
So that you demonstrate that actually you do have clients. You start showing, oh, these are the 3 things that they learn. Please guys share. Ask them to actually join you on your note. Start building up a village of people that have experienced what you're all about. Oh,
Absolutely.
I love this.
And then I think in the last 15 minutes, if it's okay with you,
no, go ahead.
I want to talk about funding.
Oh, yes.
All of us entrepreneurs, I've never met a startup or a business that's not looking for money. So let me dispel 2 myths for you. 1, there is no funding out there. That's the bad news, but also got very good news. Listen in 2 minutes. The other myth is that once we have funding, all our problems will be solved. I know big companies that are going almost broke, and they have 10,000 employees. General Electric was in the press recently because they had to restructure all the debts and then so forth. Standard Bank is not out of business, but you get my point where I'm going.
Standard Bank and ABSA have been shredding employees. I know that as a fact.
And so it's not against them. The reality is it's a changing world and they are adapting. My point here is it doesn't matter how big or small you are, you will always be resource constrained, meaning you'll never have enough employees, never have the right salespeople, never have enough money to buy stock, never have all the systems. So let me assure you that it doesn't matter how much money you'll get, a year from now you'll be back to the same problem. So that's the bad news. I've got good news. This is a suggestion that I would do to every entrepreneur. You can do it right now if you want, or after the live show. 1, take a piece of paper. On the top of it, write exactly the amount of money that you wish an investor would put in you.
Wow.
So let's say it's 50,000 Rand. Maybe it's $1 million Rand.
For me, it's 5 million.
5 million. Cool. Below that, like if you were going to Pick and Pay, write exactly down the shopping list
of what I need.
Of what that money will buy. But I don't mean generic. I mean, tell me the make of a laptop and how much that laptop will cost. The bakkie that you need, the office, how much it will cost to rent it for a year. I want specifics. Okay. Now, once you've done that, you'll probably have between 10 and 50 items. If you want to hire employees, how much did it cost? Receptionist, how much? Bookkeeper, how much? Write it down. Can be rough figures. Okay. Now I want you to break that list into 2 pieces.
Yep.
I need this and I'd like to have this. probably a third of that list is I'd like to have. For example, a phone costing 10,000 Rand is I'd like this. My phone is 2,600 Rand. It works brilliantly. It's not the best camera in the world, but it does the job of a 10,000 Rand phone, and it cost me 2,800 Rand. All I'm saying is that you don't need the iPhone. You don't need the Apple laptop. There is a company in Cosmos City, forgot what the company's name is, that takes all the laptops and computers from big banks, refurbishes them and sells them at 10%. You can get a very powerful laptop, screens, mouse, everything, for so little, with guarantees. Yeah, battery life will be shit.
Yes, true.
But my point here is suddenly another third of your budget has disappeared.
Yes.
Now you're down to only about 40% of the money you needed originally. Now let me tell you a trick. Out of that 40%, maybe you needed money to rent a bit of warehousing space. Go onto the portal that I shared. Go onto LinkedIn or Facebook and say, guys, I am a startup, I'm a small business, I'm growing, I am in this area, I can't afford rent. Is anybody who's got spare warehousing facility?
Oh, wow.
Is anybody who drives from Diepsloot to Sandton every day who's got space for 3 workers on the back of a bakkie? What I'm saying is, in this economy where business is not great, a lot of people have spare capacity, which for them might be nothing, and for you might mean the difference between making money and losing money.
Oh, wow.
Now you're down to probably 20%. If you believe strong enough in your business, then you might do a crowdfunding campaign. Back a Buddy, I think it's called, or something like that.
There's Ubuntu, there's several, yeah. There's several.
Now we've gone down. If you originally needed 50,000 Rand to start your business, now you only need 5,000 Rand. Imagine if 100 people invested 50 Rand each.
And that's it, we're done.
And then you got your funding. Now, that doesn't solve all your problems, and there's always exceptions. If you're building a hotel, if you are, but maybe you can go to somebody and say, listen, can I run your hotel? If I do a good enough job, can I buy into your hotel?
Yes, even in 5 years' time or in 10 years' time. Because the aim of being in business is to invest for a long term. It's not to cash in and get out.
So learn to ask for help, to share, and to make it easy for people to engage with you. You don't need all the money you need. In any way, I promise you, you'll run out. I did the mistake. I had money. I spent it on fancy offices, fancy consultant advisors, fancy laptops, burnt all my cash. When we started our 6th business, we started with no money. And it also taught us to be very resourceful. Now you don't develop an app with 20 features. You develop an app that does one job well. And the people start liking it.
And then you build from that one functionality to another functionality. No one actually comes up and drives a Range Rover. You start with a Golf.
Well, some people do.
No, you're gonna crash.
But no. They are now facing the Zondo Commission. Sorry. But here's the thing, guys, and the last piece of advice that I can give you is careful of scope creep in your business. It's so tempting to say, if only I had this, I would start making money. If only our portal, our website had this extra feature, we would start make money. No is the answer. If you couldn't make money, figure out how to make money on the first version. Change your packaging, change your colors, but don't spend a lot of money. If nothing works, adding things will not solve the problem. Careful of clients who say, yeah, if it has the other things, then I'll pay. Don't give away freebies. You're allowed to give discounts. You can say, guys, I need clients because it's a startup. I need reference clients. I cannot survive by giving freebies, but I can give you 80% discount. Bring some cash to the door. You don't want the freebie guys and girls because they are going to sink your business.
Yes, I love this. We are 8 minutes to finish. I do not know, do you have any questions? Perfect, people are just listening. This is wonderful. Those guys who will actually send the recording, I hope you are understanding the issue about access to market and access to funding, but also the systems that you need to think about when you're actually to separate what you want, what you don't need, and also start being resourceful. Understand money is just an outcome, is a result of someone seeing a value in you. Be valuable then to the market so that they can see that actually you're worth the money you're asking for.
There are three things you need as a business: clients, funding, and skills. And I promise you, funding is much easier once you've got clients.
Yes.
Skills comes automatically when you work on a client's problem. You will never have as good as education about a business problem that you're solving like working on somebody's problem. Go out there. It doesn't matter if you're a window cleaner, a gardener, a guy who does metal gates, whether you do telephone systems. It doesn't matter what you do. Have experience behind you. Show off that experience. Share what you're working on, and give everybody an opportunity to understand exactly why they should call you.
Perfect. On that closing, guys, I'm of a view that it's on your plate. You're gonna have to figure out what are the things that are actually the most pain for you in relation to access to market. The basics that we've discussed in here, it's huge. I actually have 3 more other items that he spoke about. We're in another event where Yoko spoke about. I mean, it was simplest thing. While he was there, I changed my Twitter hanging now. It's saying, I help entrepreneurs and keep and raise money. That's it. That's all I have. But just listening, because one of our challenges sometimes as entrepreneurs, we get to be arrogant. We get to say, I've tried this, I've tried that. Just try it in a different way. I also changed. I saw that you said, no, we need to share. I don't share enough about the case studies that I'm actually doing and the work that I'm doing. I generally don't. So I will be sharing those too.
And I'd love to add to what you just said. Beautifully put. Here's the best advice I ever got was very simple. Don't fall in love with your business idea. Fall in love with the problem you're solving. That allows you to change your business plan and the way you approach this problem much more regularly. If you fall in love with how you're doing things, you are going to be very stubborn when you receive criticism. If you are open to any suggestion to solve a specific client problem, you will change many and you'll try different solutions.
Perfect. York, we are just so grateful to being taught by you. And the fact that you're even a banker actually is like, oh, this is going to even cover the biggest problem we have on funding. And I love how you link up the funding, access to market, and the skills, and building up the skills. As a training firm for us, we're really hammering on skills because we're saying you are unable to tap into these markets because you don't have enough knowledge, you don't have a know-how, but there are people out there that can help you. I hope entrepreneurs you have learned. We will share the recordings with you. We know there were about, I think, 50 people that have registered, but it's raining. People are struggling to connect. People are complaining about load shedding. Thank you so much. We're going to post it on YouTube also. Thank you so much for joining us and share what you are learning. Remember, when you are sharing what you are learning, we're having lesser entrepreneurs repeating the same mistake you have made. And as I've shared mine, York has shared his, I'm of a view that there should be any other person who's experiencing the same thing around my network.
And stay strong. You will go through setbacks. You will feel useless. You will not be able to pay bills. It's part of the roller coaster. But you took the decision to become an entrepreneur. You, for that, deserve the biggest round of applause ever for wanting to take destiny by its horns.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Bye.
Bye. Drink coffee.
Yes, indeed. I'm gonna say end.